Hey everybody, how are you tonight? Happy New Year. It's I haven't done a Facebook Live in a while, out of design, just to allow my batteries to recharge over the holidays, and especially from politics, and to give everybody a break from politics. Sadly, as I'll get into tonight, we didn't get much of a break from politics over the holidays. So, but Happy New Year. I hope your holiday season was great. Mine sure was. I saw two of my three kids. Max, my third kid, he's over in Germany in the army, so didn't get to see him. He was with the troops for the holidays. But I had a really good time, and recharged the batteries, and loving life. Time to get back at it, and here we go. I mean, this year is kind of got off to just a crazy start politically. And by the way, I'm a big football fan, and watching all the football games. The NFL playoffs this weekend were awesome, except for that Tampa Bay Dallas game Monday night. That wasn't very good, but the other games were just outstanding. And I love football. So, and I'm looking forward to the playoffs this weekend. And the college games were good, except that college final was not so good. I don't know that anybody could have beat Georgia that night. They were playing so well. A good friend of mine, Boo Corrigan, he's the athletic director at North Carolina State University. He's the chairman of the College Football Playoff Committee. And I think because the semifinals were so competitive and fun to watch, the fact that indicated they made the right choices of who the four teams are, even though the final was just awful. It was just awful. So, I've been watching a lot of football. Really enjoy it. And so tonight's topic, Americans deserve better than this. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean that we Americans deserve better than this? And part of my message is, because we deserve better than this, and I'm going to get to what this is, we're obligated as Americans, we deserve better, but we have a part to play in that, and our part is voting, and our part is, becoming an informed voter. So that when you vote in these elections, you're informed, because your vote matters. And so in many respects, and I'm going to get to this, and I'm going to come back to this, is, we're kind of getting what we deserve. We're kind of getting what we voted for. And so what am I talking about? I mean, the first thing is, the fact that, sort of right before Christmas, the previous House of Representatives and the previous Senate passed that $1.7 trillion omnibus bill. That was, just filled. And I've read estimates from $400 to $500 billion of earmarks, they call them, which is really just pork barrel spending in that. And they rushed it through before the new House could get in. I'm amazed that McConnell let that happen. instead of having a Republican House and having more leverage to negotiate. But I think it is a symptom of how corrupt Washington D.C. is. That, you know, who was really paying attention to that stuff, you know, the week leading up to Christmas, and you know, and as I said, I mean, I've seen estimates from $400 to $500 billion of pork barrel spending in it, and that's, you know, our deficit is just growing like crazy, and you know, and we have, you know, corrupt politicians, and I believe most people in D.C. are corrupt, you know, doing that kind of stuff. You know, when this was all going down, I saw, I think it was on Twitter, you know, Mitt Romney did a video about the $1.7 trillion omnibus bill, and he essentially said, and he was proud of this, he was super, super proud of this. He said, yeah, he said, I'm really glad we got it done before the Republican House got seated, because we got a better deal now than we would have gotten if the Republicans were in control of the House. Now, what exactly he means by a better deal, I have no idea. I mean, it, you know, maybe a better deal, better because there was a lot of pork in it. So, and then, and I would urge you to go back and try to find that Romney Twitter thing. And then, so Romney says it was a better deal, and they're glad we did it and all that. And then he went on to sort of go down a list of all the earmarks that he got for the state of Utah. And, you know, no, listen, I haven't looked at each one of those and made any sort of assessment on which of those is in the national interest and which of those are just pure earmarks, pure pork spending. But I gotta believe when he's going down a laundry list of, I don't know, I think maybe there were 10 things, that many of those are in fact just pork barrel spending. And we don't have the money for it. Our debt is just through the roof, over $31 trillion. I mean, with interest rates going up, soon the federal budget interest component will probably hit $1 trillion every year. And, you know, and listen, and we don't deserve this. We don't deserve the politicians hiding in D.C. the week before Christmas and during all this horse trading to get pork barrel spending for themselves. We deserve better than that. We need to have people looking out for the national interest and looking out for their constituents and the amount of the debt and so we deserve much, much better than that. But it goes back to the point is, you know, we're responsible. We elect these people. And I think, you know, the voters, we have to start paying closer attention. Now, it's hard. It is really, really hard because you're pounded with commercials and you're pounded on social media with information that, you know, is spun in a way that in most cases just isn't true. It's just not true who these politicians are. And, you know, it is amazing to me how many people in Congress are making, I have this list up of, are making tons of money in the stock market. I mean, you know, and they're not subject to the insider trading laws, and they're making bank, man. They're making big money, and it's really fascinating. And, you know, and we deserve better than this. We deserve, representatives who are looking out for the national interests and looking out for us and looking out to make sure our kids and our grandchildren doesn't have this huge amount of debt to pay. So we got to do a better job as voters. We must do a better job of voters. And then the other thing that, I mean, you know, all this stuff with these classified documents, both with Joe Biden and with Donald Trump, and I'm not going to get into a debate as far as, whose situation is worse or not so bad or any of that. I mean, to me, that's a debate that just is trying to deflect responsibility. I mean, if you've made a mistake, to deflect the responsibility by saying the other guy did it too and he did it worse than me is just not what we deserve. I mean, we deserve to have these people standing up and being held accountable and taking responsibility. And but the framework of this is, I'm not going to get into some kind of discussion where Trump's situation is worse than Biden or Biden's situation is worse than Trump. Both situations are bad for the country. Bad for the country. And what we're seeing now out of the White House with respect to the Biden situation is absolute and total stonewalling. That they're hiding information, they're not being transparent, even though they say they're being transparent. And that's the nature of our politics today. It's all about, what is the spin? How are you going to talk about it? How are you going to deflect? How are you going to how are you going to avoid responsibility and accountability? We deserve better than that. And I mean, I was on the radio with Chris Ryan the other day talking about this, and he wanted to talk about the situation with Biden, and I'm thinking, my gracious, these documents have been out there floating around from place to place for 6 years. For 6 years. I mean, and to try to piece together a timeline of where the documents were located and who might have visited that location, and possibly had access to them, that is a huge task. And listen, I don't know what's in those documents. I don't know if it's really secret, important information or not so secret or important information, but they're classified documents, and they're just, it seems like, based on the reporting, that they're just stuck in the garage and stuck in his library and at the UPenn Biden Center, and who was going in and out of there and who had access to them, and it's and you can come up with so many different scenarios, because those documents have been out there for 6 years, and Hunter Biden was staying at the house in Wilmington, and I understand paying rent. And who did Hunter Biden have in there? And Hunter Biden's doing business with the Ukrainians, and Hunter Biden's doing business with the Chinese, and Hunter Biden's doing business with some Russians, and and those documents are sitting around. It's a very irresponsible situation for sure, dangerous situation for our country, and we deserve better than that. We absolutely deserve better than that. And even with the situation of Mar-a-Lago and Donald Trump, I mean, we deserve better than for a former president, and in Biden's case, a former vice president, being irresponsible when it comes to handling this kind of confidential information. And listen, again, I don't want to get into a discussion about whose situation is worse, and you can make arguments on all sides of this, but we deserve better. We deserve that our national leaders safeguard that kind of information, because ultimately that information protects us, and it's behoove of us voters. I'm telling you, and this is gonna be a theme I talk about all year long in different contexts. That we have to take our responsibility as voters more serious than we do. So it's we are responsible. We need to become informed voters. All right, we need to become the kind of voters that pay attention with what the hell's going on, and it's very, very important that we do that. And so we're kind of getting what we deserve, because we the voters elected these people, and it's about time we get more serious about being a voter and about who we're going to vote for and getting informed. Don't just listen to what they tell you in their commercials and in their social media ads. No. We need to pay closer attention to what's going on, because right now, we deserve better than this, but we're getting what we deserve because we elected these people. And we need to start holding them accountable. And we need to become more informed voters. So yes, we deserve better than this, but we are responsible as voters. And I'm talking to the left, the right, the middle, all of us. Let's get more informed so we know what we're voting for. And don't listen to the spin on TV, and you got to read a lot of sources and pay attention. So anyway, this is going to be a theme that I have throughout the year: how voters can become more informed. And we need to hold ourselves accountable as voters, so then we can hold the politicians accountable when they want to get reelected. So there you have it. That's it for my first Facebook Live of the year. Send me emails if there's something you want me to talk about, corkymessner@gmail.com. And if you have questions that you want me to address, just hit me up in an email. Again, Happy New Year. Enjoy the football games this weekend. And I'll be back. God bless you, and God bless America. Bye-bye.